It looks super weird.
All right, so we usually start a couple minutes after. Let me get rid of my gum. I don't want to be chewing and then bite myself. I do that a lot. So we usually give a couple minutes to get people a chance to log in, get settled.
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy. Welcome.
Hello, hello, hello. I'm going to invite a couple of my clients.
Please, thank you.
Yes,
the more the better.
It's easier to invite them from the Zoom than it is to give them the information. They're older like me.
Hi, Vanessa. How you doing? Good to see you. Vanessa and Vanessa. We got two Vanessas.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, Vanessa.
I like it. All right, we'll get started in a minute or so. But anyway, so I always start off the presentations by kind of stating a declaration that I would like to invite you guys to listen to tonight's presentation with intention, only because I find that extremely powerful for me. When I read some material, when I listen to a PowerPoint, when I go to the classroom, I'm pretty clear about my intention to learn something from it. Because when you go into something with a mindset of, I'm gonna learn something valuable tonight, you kind of prime your mind to kind of be open for ideas that will definitely make an impact on the material. Because, you know, sometimes it could be extensive like tonight, and that's the reason why I want to make sure that you guys are going into this with that mindset. We're going to try to summarize as much as possible. We have a lot of material to cover tonight, and that's why we're going to do things a little different. We usually have one main presenter, but tonight we're going to split it amongst myself, Juliana, and Jennifer, because the material is just a lot to cover, and we want to make sure that we deliver you the best product possible. So please, if you guys are, I welcome you guys to write some notes down. We have a couple of very special guests tonight. I'll let Jennifer do the intro later on. So we are about bringing you quality information, and for that we're very purposefully trying to bring you people with extensive experience and a lot of good personal stories to kind of help you understand the whole process of what we're trying to do here. But anyways, before I start here, so we are on week, actually element 12. There's a total of 26 elements altogether. The first 5 are about the mindset, and then the rest of them are about installing good habits that will help you not only get to your desired weight, but have good elements or good habits in your daily routine that will help you maintain and live a pretty healthy lifestyle. So we're about halfway through the book. If you guys don't have this book, I strongly recommend you guys order it from your coach that invited you tonight. This has a lot of good information. I mean, I live by it. I can talk about it all night because it's made a lot of a big impact in my life. So anyways, let me go ahead and start sharing the screen so we can get started here with tonight. Tonight's topic is titled Your Success, Optimizing Your Success in Reaching a Healthy Weight. So it's a little tricky, but let me kind of give you a little summary of what we're going to cover tonight. So we're going to cover multiple things. We're going to cover, the first part is going to talk about consumption of fruit. We're going to briefly talk about hidden calories. We're going to talk about exercise. We're going to talk about whole foods, and then we're going to close it out with a checklist. So what do these topics have to do with each other? So a lot of times people go into the program, either the 5-in-1 or a variation of it, and a lot of times they have some misconceptions about Should they stop eating fruit, right? Because we know that fruits, it's healthy for us, but so this is something that we need to cover because it needs to be addressed. Same thing with finding hidden calories that may keep you from getting to your goal weight as soon as possible. And then the role of exercise that it plays in going through the program, because a lot of people, they don't want to stop going to the gym. They know that this is a good routine, and yes, it is. That'll become part of eventually your lifestyle. But during the 5-in-1, it's important to understand the role that exercise plays in your journey. And then the last thing is going to be the consumption of whole foods. And then the checklist will be covered in more detail, but I think as Juliana will cover that. So keep it up in mind. We're going to address these topics because we're going to have a lot of questions through the program about whether I should eat fruit, whether I should exercise, and whether I should eat whole foods and any potential hidden calories. So that's the whole purpose of tonight's element. All right, so let me get started here. So we're going to have Jennifer kick us off.
Hi, welcome everybody. I'm Jennifer. I'm a certified health coach with Optavia. So I'm really excited about tonight's element because I relate to it quite a bit. So this is for anyone who is seeking to improve your physical and mental health. So if you want to check out sections 2.2 and 2.3 in the habits of health info to go along with this. We will be talking about this. So this applies to other plans as well, but like JP said, this applies, our main focus is on the 5-in-1. So depending on whatever your doctor or your coach has put you on, you just want to reach out to them. So we're going to cover why timing is important in terms of waiting before adding key habits, like JP mentioned. Clarify what the important guidelines are, why the system works the way it does, and using our checklist. So if we can talk about what this element is about. Next slide, please. And if everybody can do me a favor and put yourself on mute, we have a lot of information to cover. Just want to make sure we are able to get through it and everybody can hear. So to avoid any confusion and to make sure that you understand why we are asking you to do what may seem confusing, since exercise and fruit is so important as well as whole foods, but it's important that we do it in a certain step, so that way we can get ourselves to a healthy weight first, and then we can implement those other things. So why no fruit or extra calories during phase 1? So we've always been told that, you eat your fruit for long-term health, right? They have antioxidants, they're really good for us. This is perfect for the future past our phase 1. So the thing we need to think about it is, this is going to be one of the first things that we bring back to you into your healthy lifestyle. So we just need to get past the weight loss part, and we're going to go ahead and explain why we don't eat fruit in phase 1. So it elevates your insulin levels, which causes a sugar crash later, and it shuts down your fat burn. So during phase 1, we want to make sure that we're avoiding them. We want to make sure that we're turning our fat cells into something good. They have higher carbohydrates, which turn into sugar, right? We can achieve fat burn by turning our insulin pump by specifically avoiding excessive carbs. So like I said, using our fat as our fuel. So once we reach our healthy weight and remove the excess fat, then we will introduce fruit, about a quarter portion of our plate with every meal. So this will bring back into your regular habits. What happens when you bring in foods that don't go along with the program is you will start to kick yourself out of fat burn. So on our next slide, we have a chart that shows so 10 days on the 5-in-1 program with a choice on the 7th day. This is where you start to yo-yo. You start feeling good, right? So you start to make choices. And so you think, oh, I've lost a couple pounds already. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to eat this banana, or this strawberry looks so good. I'm going to go ahead and add this in. It's still healthy, right? But what you don't understand is that this actually can possibly take you out of fat burn. So here you've spent a week getting on track, and now you have to start over. It does take about 3 days to get yourself into fat burn. So once you hit that, on the 4th day, you'll start feeling more energy. You'll have improved sleep, little to no hunger cravings. And this is where your weight loss progress, and this is where you start to reach your optimal health journey. And this is where you really want to lean into your life book. So now that we're settling into phase 1, we want to ensure that we're not consuming any extra carbs. So what that means is, like, in the morning when you have your breakfast, your creamers, right? Any extra condiments that you're adding. Sometimes we don't know that we're consuming extra hidden carbs. So we want to make sure that we're watching our daily condiments, our drinks, gums, mint, candy, all your evening snacks. You want to make sure that we're following the guideline. If it's not in your guidebook, then you shouldn't have it. If you haven't reached that next phase yet to where you can start adding your regular healthy items back into your daily diet, then you want to avoid those during phase 1. So no or reduce exercise during the first 3 weeks of phase 1. So this was really tough for me, because when I first started my journey, I was going to the gym like 2-3 times a day. I was working out, I was hiking. So just like we eliminated the fruit in this phase, we also want to eliminate those physical activities. So if you're somebody like me that was always in the gym, I want to cut that down in half, because I want to give my body the time to adjust to the new eating pattern. We don't have to do everything at once. So this is why we do everything in phases. So we work on our healthy weight first, and then we start implementing the other things like the fruit, the exercise. So, you know, there's times that we're going to start feeling good and we just want to go gung-ho, but that's really bad. You really need to wait and give your body time. So no exercise, don't start for the first few weeks. If you're not exercising at all, you want to make sure that you really hold off and connect with your coach. So you want to remember that weight loss and maintenance is in the kitchen, and fitness is in the gym or your activities such as hiking, biking, you know, whatever you like to do, go running. Those are the things that you'll implement a little bit at a time. So I would like to go ahead and turn this over to JP to cover the next section.
Okay, so I'm gonna specifically cover 3 different activity levels, only because I wanna make sure that you guys understand, because everybody's in a different journey. When they start the program, it is important to understand how this could impact your ability to stay with the program. So for most of us, we go into this program with probably little to no activity, right? So I'm gonna cover this first one, the minimal activity level. And so what I'm gonna cover regarding minimal activity levels is that the idea is that getting into the 5 and 1 is the fastest and most rapid way to help you lose the weight, as Jennifer mentioned, by getting your body to shut off the insulin pump and you start using your fat reserves for energy instead of your sugar, the sugar in your blood stream. That's where you cut back on all the extra, the fruits and all that stuff, and all the extra carbohydrates. So the physical activity, we always tell everybody, if you really have the urge to do any sort of exercise, and even then, it's going to be very specific, as I'll tell you in the next point. The first 3 weeks is recommended that you don't do any exercise at all. The reason why this is important is because your body is going through a bit of a shock, where it's changing the way it processes food and fuel and the way that it burns it. So it's always important to give your body the chance to be able to acclimate to that change, because it's a drastic change, believe it or not. As you begin after the 3rd week, then we can start slowly implementing activity levels, like what we call NEAT activity levels. These are the non-exercise activity thermogenesis activities, like taking a little walk around the neighborhood, walking your dog, taking the stairs instead of the elevator. So simple things like that you can start doing after week 3. And then beyond that, we can start making more changes especially as you begin to get towards your goal weight, and you want to go into transition from phase 1 to phase 2, then we can start adding things a little bit gradually. And because a lot of times this happened to me as well. As I was beginning to lose the weight, I was feeling, you're gonna start feeling confident. You don't love the way you look. You're gonna love the way you feel. You're gonna feel like a totally different person. And because of that, you are extra motivated to get to the gym as soon as possible, because you want, you look good. You want to get into those gym clothes and you want to go and, show off what you got. So you are motivated, but still you have to be cautious with that process from transition into phase 2. And as I mentioned, the NEAT activities, and then we'll transition into EAT activities, which is the actual exercise. The actual items here is that these are all components required of having long-term success. Okay, now I'm going to move on to moderate. So for these people that are in moderate activity levels, we want to scale it back to minimal, only because, as I mentioned, your body, when you're going through moderate activities like, running and jogging long distance and maybe doing some cardio or aerobics, your body will have a tendency to compensate by asking you for more food. So if anybody that has experience working out, I get hungrier than ever when I work out, especially when I lift heavy. My body just asks for those extra calories. So it's really difficult to stay on the 5 and 1 or the 4 and 2 when I'm trying to lose weight through fat burn, but I'm exercising because my body wants the extra calories. It wants the extra fuel. So it's super, super difficult to get that done when your body's telling you to eat that slice of pizza. So just keep that in mind. As I mentioned, for them, it's recommended that you scale it back to minimal exercise, get into the first 3 weeks, and then slowly start gradually adding NEAT activities, and eventually getting back to full exercise mode. Okay, now for the intense activity people. So for them, as I mentioned, so I'm going to summarize this slide in one simple story. I kind of got ahead of myself when I was transitioning, and I actually went pretty heavy on some workouts, and I got really lightheaded. I had to sit down because I got to the point where I was beginning to pass out because of, ultimately, your body cannot burn fuel fast enough to be able to sustain that kind of energy that your body needs to work out heavily. And that's why sugar is so readily available, because it delivers straight to the bloodstream, it goes straight to the muscle, and it gives you the energy you need to work out. Fat is a very slow process. And that's why it's always important to always make sure that if you are interested in getting into an intense activity, wait until after you're done with your phase 1 of getting to your desired weight. Wait until you transition through phase 1 into phase 2, and then start getting into your routine of working out as you want. So, everybody's different. I have some goals. I want to do some triathlons. Somebody else might want to get into boxing. I know that some people here like to do some boxing. Everybody's different, but ultimately, we have to be very intentful with the way we start incorporating our activity levels. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and pass this on to, I think this is Juliana taking over.
No, this is actually me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so why am I eating fuelings instead of whole foods, right? So here's the thing. If you're eating too much or eating the wrong things at the wrong time, you're really not going to reach your goals at that point. So I was the type of person that I would eat just very little bit, and I would work out all the time. So what I was doing is I wasn't eating enough for the amount of energy that I was burning. So the plan is very simple. So we use the 5 fuelings along with your lean and green. It's a very simple process to follow. I'm somebody that was really, really picky. So honestly, if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's the safest and easiest way. I've actually been able to save money since I've been on the program. It's going to help you with your long-term goals, and it's going to teach you those habits one step at a time, because once we learn how to fix what's on our plate and in our mind, then everything else just falls into place after that. So, you know, you don't want to have to count calories and macros and stuff. So this takes all the guesswork out of it for you. Again, we'll eventually get into, you know, adding those things back. And at that point, you're going to learn how to put all the different colorful things on your plate and all the different components that we mentioned. So we'll eventually go into some micro habits and, you know, help you select food, you know, what types of food are going to be best for you at the right times, eating every 2 to 3 hours, you know, it just breaking it up during those times of the day. It keeps your body moving. It keeps it burning that fuel. So just to kind of summarize on this element, you know, as far as fruit, exercise, fuelings, and whole foods, they're very, you know, important as a whole in your overall success in your healthy lifestyle. But we do have to do those in phases. So this is the reason behind all of this. So if you actually just follow the process, so this is my second time around on the program. I've tried several times in between, but I failed because I didn't use the support system the way that I didn't use all the components. And this whole COVID time has really helped me focus and remind myself that, you know what, I don't need the gym. The gym's closed, so what? Everybody on social media is complaining that when's the gym's gonna open? I need to lose weight, I'm getting fat. How about we work about what's on our plate? And that's what this element is about, is teaching you those little habits to understand how your body is fueled and when you need to fuel them. So we'll be using these fuelings primarily in phase 1 because, you know, they're very nutritional and, you know, it's easy grab and go stuff. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it, like I said. So after that, you'll learn how to go ahead and make all the different fuelings that you need. So some secrets to success while in phase 1, like I had mentioned, eating every 2 to 3 hours. Honestly, by the time that I'm hungry, it's time for me to eat. I'm at that like 2.5 hour mark. I drink a little bit of water, get myself settled, start making my fueling or my meal, whatever I'm gonna make, and then I'm ready to eat. Make sure that you're getting your rest, especially the first week that your body is going into transition. Your body's getting used to this change. You're fueling it differently. So don't try to do everything at once. Again, your body needs the rest. Make sure you're getting a minimum of 64 ounces of water daily. You know, if you're a little bit more active, you probably want to add more, especially in the heat. Try eating slowly, breaking up your meals. If, you know, for those that are you on program, you know, the bars tend to be a little bit small, break them up. You know, eat one every, you know, couple minutes, and then a piece every couple minutes, and then drink some water. Make sure that you stay busy. Avoid anything that smells really good, especially during this, you know, first the first week in your journey, because, you know, all these extra smells are going to make you maybe make a choice that you wish you didn't make. Always lean into your support system, reach into your coach. And if you don't have a coach, get a coach. Whoever invited you to this call, if you don't have a coach already, reach out to them. And, you know, we have these Zoom calls every week. We have our support system. We have our YouTube. We have our podcast. So we have tons of things. If you can't make one of our calls, there's always a way for you to get on to be able to hear these different elements and other success stories. So some secrets to success while in phase 1. So you want to make sure we go over a checklist. Limit your caffeine because, you know, when you first go into your phase 1, your body may be a little bit more sensitive to it. You definitely want to avoid alcohol. It does cause dehydration. It also increases your appetite. It's really going to kick you out of fat burn. Don't worry, we all make mistakes. We're human. So if you mess up, lean into your support. We'll get you right back on track. It just takes a couple of days to get right back there. Lean into your life book. This is a very important key to your lifelong journey. If you haven't opened it up yet, for those of you who had it, open it up. Write your name in it. I have mine. I have it handy with me. I have a copy at work and I have a copy at home. We have an app. So the Dr. A's Habits of Health app, it helps keep you on point. It gets you through the elements. It keeps you on track. It reminds you to eat and get your water in. And reminder, no exercise the first 3 weeks. Let your body get used to it. JB talked about the neat activities in phase 1. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Juliana to go over some final thoughts.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Okay, so final thoughts. Now that we've heard all this information, what do we take from it beside the few checklists? So how long do I have to be in phase 1? This depends, obviously, on how much weight you have to lose. So in order for us to determine that, we use our BMI scale. So a lot of the times with my clients, I like to tell them right from the start. People tell me, okay, I want to get healthy. And they're not really specific with their BMI. It's more of a weight that they think that they can get to, or what they think is healthy. So it's important that you recognize this BMI because of the health conditions that come with having your BMI at an unhealthy level. So phase 1 depends how long you're going to be on by the weight that you're going to lose. So for myself, I needed to lose a small amount of weight. And this was pretty quick. I lost 10 pounds in a month. I was only in the weight loss phase for a temporary, but what happened for me is now that I've been on program for 1.5 years, I am using the Life Book. So if you're only going to be on it temporarily, you want to make sure that you're continuing to work on this, because even though we may be able to control parts of our body, this is not always aligned, and that can cause other habits to get out of line, like you're sleeping and you're drinking and, you know, all other things that are going to take you out of being healthy. So that's, you know, we want to make sure that we're continuing that. So also, those of you that do have the books, everything, this refers you back to parts 2.4 and 2.7 in the Habits of Health book. Now, if you have a lot of weight to lose, you're going to be in phase 1 for a while. So concentrate on low glycemic portion controls. And again, back to the books. So 2.4 and 2.7. And as you're progressing, because you're going to be in this phase for a longer period of time, you're going to have more time to be able to read and explore, and there's going to be more changes going on. So you also want to refer to 2.9 and 2.12 in the book as well. And remember, guys, taking notes, it's powerful. Remembering the materials and making this material part of your lifestyle. So we want to not just read the books, you know, but we want to try to be aware of what we're reading and really study it. You know, the material is only going to be valuable to you if you're actually taking it in and applying it to your lifestyle. We all say we know how to be healthy, but if we're not applying it, then we're not healthy. So let's take those steps. So the next element will be about tools to help you evaluate your days, one at a time, since a transition occurs that way in small incremental improvements. So for next week, we are going to be talking about the Health and Hope Night, but I do want you guys to keep this in mind for a BMI chart. So if you're not aware of the measurements that you're supposed to be at a healthy weight, please check this out, guys. We all have access to internet. It's widely available and it's all the same. It doesn't vary by nationality, race, ethnicity. It doesn't matter. We all, healthy is one size. So for your size. So yeah, I'll give it back to Jen.
Alrighty, so I'm actually really, really excited to introduce this next couple. I actually met them about 4 years ago. I started going to some events, and not knowing anybody is really, sometimes it's uncomfortable to go in, but they welcomed us with open arms. And CHERI and Dave, I would like to turn this over to you. You can go ahead and take yourself off of mute. Vicky, are you able to get them off of mute?
Yes. Can you hear us now?
Oh, there you go.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much. And I want to just start with a little bit of just kind of how we got here, because we started with the physical health part of our journey 5.5 years ago. So in 2014, I had 4 teenagers, and obviously Mary, since Dave's here with me, but I really didn't know that this was going to work for me. I had a lot of mental challenges with just my mindset really not being in line at all with my health. And so I was very uncomfortable and I had no energy. I mean, 4 teenagers, because we had 4 kids in 5 years. So I literally had 4 teenagers in our house that we were raising. And I was really insecure and just really stressed out about so many things. And I hid it well, but it showed up in my unhealthy habits and my unhealthy weight. And we were also very financially stressed. So there was just so much stress involved. So the unhealthy habits, like when we first got started, it was very much about losing weight. And we thought it was just a diet. And little did we know that the mindset and the financial blessings and the relief that was going to come from losing the weight was just amazing. So David lost 70 pounds in 4 months and I lost 40 pounds. And that was 5 years ago. But what we gained was energy, clarity of mind, daily habits that they mentioned about the habits of health system. And we still practice those now so that we continue to work on new levels of health, as well as, life doesn't really get less stressful. We just get better at practicing these habits. And I really have learned stress and emotional management, and the support community and the tools really are the things that have been a key to that. So to really be able to kind of pay that forward and now coach others has made me be really accountable. Otherwise, I probably would have gained all my weight back, because our program's really effective from all the reasons they just explained, but keeping it off and continuing to grow and get healthier inside has really been such a huge blessing for us. So now we have 4 adult kids in college, and we hired a financial planner last year and really got ourselves completely out of debt and just have a lot of blessings that have come from the external things that you kind of just think that being married and raising a family is just supposed to be that hard and stressful. And I'm here to tell you that it's not. So if you feel stuck and frustrated, as soon as you start that weight loss journey, it really can open up so many possibilities for just building so many awesome things in your life. And we really didn't give ourselves the ability to dream back then. We were kind of really in survival mode. If you've ever taken the well-being evaluation or the health assessment, we really were at the lowest one possible that you could score, and now we're at the highest one possible. So it's just really such a blessing. So I'm going to have Dave share his journey and his story, because it's really key that for us as a couple, I really didn't believe that I could do it and that it was going to be possible for me, because as the wife and the mom, and I had emotional eating issues and just all kinds of challenges with it. So he really was the catalyst for me believing that it was possible. So, and when he shares his story, you'll kind of see why.
I'm Dave. Thanks for having me. I was about 243 pounds, 5'10". I couldn't barely tie my shoes. I was miserable. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then I saw my brother. My brother had prostate cancer, and he said so he needed to lose weight before he had some of these procedures. And I saw him one day, and he had lost like 30 pounds. And I'm like, what? Through my younger brother, whatever you did, I can do better. So what do I do? And so it's actually, I think it's closer to 6 years ago. So he goes, here's a website, go sign up. So I did. I didn't even have a coach. I didn't know there was coaching. I got a box and a book. I opened a book, read what it said, ate the food, lost 73 pounds in 4 months. So, but what for me, what I learned and why I was successful is that what I learned through this whole thing is that I have to, I can't lie to myself. I have to learn. And what's most important to me, and then it's all mental. So kind of taking those pieces without having a coach. I just read the book. So number one thing is I read the book. I read who Dr. A was. I looked him up on the internet. This guy's a real doctor. He's the whole deal. I've met him obviously since then, and he's an amazing person. when I didn't have a clue who he was, I read the book. I'm like, look, if this guy's for real, I'm going to listen to what he says. I listen to what my doctor says. My doctor doesn't give me advice on how to lose weight, but he tells me how to take care of myself. This guy's a doctor, and he's saying, this is how I can help you. So I just did what he said. I ate every 3 hours. I drank a bottle of water every 3 hours, and I ate a lean and green. And that's it. I did that for 4 months, lost the weight. So, but what I had to do was decide what's important. And okay, is my family most important? And most people I talk to, they're like, yeah, my family's most important. I said, what about yourself? What about your health? They're like, no, family. I say, all right, so if you get sick and die, and and your family's now without you because you didn't take care of yourself as number one. And they're like, okay, I get your point. So your health has to be number one. You take care of your health so that you can take care of others. So I decided that. Therefore, I was going to do whatever I needed to do to lose the weight, to get healthy. And then I had to figure, the next part was, okay, so I decided what's most important, but then I had to be at the right mental capacity to say, well, so my brother was getting married 2 weeks later, right? So there's all these parties and everything like that, and I'm going to these parties, and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'm just having chicken and lettuce, and I'm bringing a bunch of bars, and I'm gonna do this. And so I started. The mental part was, I'm just gonna do this. Dr. A talks about a stop, challenge, choose, and I've read his book on that. But I basically did what he said without knowing about it, because I hadn't read it at the time. I was like, I'm just gonna not do this because it's not in what the guy told me to do. So it's about a mental. You have to get to that mental place that you're like, number one, I'm important enough to do this. I am that. There's value in my life that I should take care of myself, because then I can't. If I die, I can't take care of everybody else. If I'm sick, I can't take care of everybody else. I've got 4 kids, a wife, 3 brothers, a couple sister-in-laws, my parents. I have to be healthy so I can be there for them. And how do I do it? I made my mind up. I stopped, challenged, choose, and said, I am going to do this. I'm not going to do anything but what it says. I didn't hack the foods. I didn't add stuff to make it taste better. You know what? I figured out that what tastes good to me is shakes and bars. So I just ate shakes and bars, and I was having a blast. I didn't want to eat I'd eat the soups if I needed to, if I wanted to, if it was cold outside. But I just did that because that was my mental attitude. I'm going to do this because I've seen people lose this weight. They still have the weight up, and I'm just going to do it. Okay, so I did that. And that's the part, like, seeing is believing. You see these pictures of CHERI and I right here on the screen? Here we weigh, and this is a lie. I'm a 34 waist, not a 36. CHERI.
It's not a lie. I was misinformed.
But these there's a picture of us, but we see pictures of other people, and we're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. It can be done. Obviously, there's so many. Just the pictures tell the story all themselves. Okay. So then I had to do the other things. Okay, I made the choice, I made the decision, and then I had to commit. And committing is the thing. I committed to doing this. I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to hack it. I'm not going to do anything different. I'm just going to do that. I did it. I followed whatever instructions the little book said. I read Dr. A's first book that he did before this one, and now I've read this one, and it comes down to where you have to trust. In this case, I say I trust Dr. A, right? And so because I didn't have a coach, but you have to trust your coach, because your coach is trusting Dr. A. Dr. A knows his stuff. He's helped over 1 million people get healthy. So that's the kind of doctor I'm going to listen to. And then the other part is that I had to learn, because once I get down to that weight, what's going to happen? I'm just going to eat like I did before and gain it all back. So I better learn. I better learn how much protein, how much. It's not about calories exactly. I mean, you get a range of that, but it's not calorie counting. I just know that I can have 6 to 8 ounces of protein, and 1 serving of grain, and 7 servings of vegetables and fruits. And so you just learn that. So then when you transition and you get into eating, and you get there and you're going to eat, and you're going to eat right, you're going to keep the weight off. It's so important that you learn during the process. That's why you do a lean and green. You measure it, you weigh it. And by the time you're done, you know how to do a lean and green. You'll look at it and know how much that is. so that when you're adding the other stuff in, you learn the same kind of things. So you don't hack it. You don't like don't have fruit. I'm not even questioning it. He said don't have fruit. All right, I'm not. I just eat the bars. So the other thing that happens during this challenge, this thing, is there's obstacles all over the place. Your mind is an obstacle. Your family's an obstacle. Your wife's an obstacle. Your kids are obstacles. The party's an obstacle. Everybody's an obstacle because they don't understand. And you teach them by your willpower and your decision of how you're going to live your life. They start seeing and they start supporting you. And those obstacles will continue to come, and you are just not going to run from them. You're going to go through them, and it will make you a better person, and it will make you a better, a healthier person. So don't lie to yourself. It's just is my first thing, because yeah, I don't think I can do it. Yes, you can, but don't lie. You can do it.
Wow, that was absolutely amazing. I really, really appreciate you sharing. I, shared these last 4 years with you guys and watch how much you've grown over the years and the obstacles that you've overcome. So you guys continue to stay strong, and you continue to stay strong together and support each other. And that's what I love about your guys' relationship. It is absolutely amazing. From the day that I met you, I've always seen you guys side by side, or one was always leaning on the other. Whether you weren't physically there, you were there supporting each other. And that's absolutely amazing. So thank you for sharing with us tonight. I would like to, thank you. I would like to invite anybody to come off of mute and ask any questions that they may have for CHERI and Dave, or for either Coach JP, Juliana, or myself.
Let me start off, Jennifer. So I want to say I really enjoyed that you sharing you guys' story, CHERI and Dave, especially with Dave. Like I like the way you tell your story, because you kind of make it comical, because in a lot of ways it is the things that we go through, the challenges that we see. I mean, to me, it's just amazing how like you said, your family challenges you, your friends challenge you, things happen and you just don't control them. And it's just, I mean, to me, it's just funny how you kind of tell your story, and it's extremely funny to me. But you are right. So I think the best thing that you guys display tonight is your attitude. And when you have the mindset, the right mindset of I know where I want to get, and just taking it lightly, oh my God, that makes such an amazing difference. Having the right attitude, having a clear goal. To me, I attribute those two things to you guys' success. Plus the fact that you guys did this together. You guys have the same shared mission. To me, that's just, it's inspirational. So thank you for sharing.
Our pleasure. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you. So I do encourage you to connect with either your coach or the person that brought you here, and share your thoughts and whatever actions you're going to take from this element. Sharing your thoughts with your coach or whoever the person that brought you here will help them become a reality. So it's really, really important that you get connected with that. So if anybody would like to actually take the opportunity to share now, we're here willing to listen or answer any questions you may have.
Jennifer.
Yes.
Hey, hi guys, it's Nika.
Hi, Nika.
Hey, Nika.
Hi. I had a question for the lovely couple. Me and my boyfriend, we fall off a lot. We are like strong on, then we fall off, or I'll fall off, and then he'll fall off first, and then, oh yeah, well, let's just have like a slice of pizza. How do you guys motivate each other when the other falls off? And does that happen? Are you guys like just super strong the whole way, or has there ever been a time where one of you guys fell off and the other one had to motivate the other to get back on, or encourage them to stay on task to the goal for weight loss?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's not a perfect, nobody's perfect, right? Stuff happens, right? Sometimes it's not even, you're like somewhere and you didn't bring a bar, you didn't bring a shake, and there's only something there to eat, and you're starving, and there's something there to eat. You got nothing that you can do, and you're just like, okay, well, I got to eat because I'm going to pass out. So you eat whatever it is, right? Or there's other times where you're just like, sorry, man, I had a Twinkie or whatever. But what happens is, what I learned is, because and CHERI was always like, oh, well, I got to start over at day one. I'm like, no, it's not day one. You had day one. You're on day 3042. You're just having another day. And so you had one day where you didn't do what you wanted to do. So you just start, you don't start over, you just continue. That's just an obstacle. When you're in traffic and a car breaks down in front of you, you just stop and sit there and no one else is on the road. You could change lanes and go around them. You could get out and help. You don't just sit there in the car going, oh my God, I'll never get anywhere because this one car is blocking my lane. No one else is in the other 9 lanes, but I'm stuck for life, right? Mm-hmm. No, you go around, you help, you do something, right? So it's the same thing. As you fall off, then you just get back on. And it's not day one. It's just the next day and you do it again. Because you know what you're learning is you know that this works. And you know that you as a person are going to grow through these challenges. That is an obstacle. You defeat that obstacle. You defeat it enough times, you're like, okay, I got this, right? So it's not the end. It's not even a new beginning. It's just the next step. Mm-hmm. Remember when we were little kids, or if you have a little kid, they start learning to walk, they get up, they fall down. If that was it, obstacles in the way, I'm never going to walk, right? They don't do that. They get up and they fall and they get up and they fall and they get up and one day they run over to you and you're like, oh my gosh, you're walking, right? That's the same thing.
Okay. And my perspective that I would add, just because women tend to be a little more emotional about it, like, and that's why I love how he shares, because he is much more matter of fact about it most of the time. And it's easy to make it sound after 5.5 years that, you know, we just did it and it's all confident, whatever. But there were definitely times where it felt hard, like for me. So emotionally can feel like hard, like all the things he just mentioned about all those obstacles. Like he really does sort of see them just as inanimate obstacles that your mind can go over. I see them as traumatic some days, and I just am so exhausted by even thinking about it. But the balance for both of us, and even just sticking to his car example, and what I've learned now is if you have pizza or you have something with family, that is not an excuse to eat whatever the heck you want for the next 24 hours. So if I do have struggles when I was in my weight loss phase or even last week, I have the next best, healthiest thing at my next 2.5 hour increment. I don't even wait till the next morning to start a whole new day one. It's like, nope. And that's some of the mindset shift that has happened, because I don't beat myself up anymore. I don't have guilt about it anymore. And I really do have the next, and it's amazing how if you have one unhealthy thing because you couldn't do stop, challenge, and choose proactively in the moment, then 2.5 hours later, you have something healthy, whether it's a lean and green or a fueling. It's amazing how you feel better right away. Like your mindset's already like, okay, I'm back on track. I feel good. I can do this. And you even physiologically feel better because you fed your body with something healthy. So that's the biggest thing I'd say I'd learned is I used to beat myself up for 24 hours and then wait till the next Monday morning or the next whatever. And then I was miserable for a lot longer. Whereas, and then I have a coach and a couple other accountability friends and Dave too. And I would text them like after something would happen and they would kind of remind me, okay, great job for checking in right after and for getting right back on track. Now we're going to start texting before you choose to eat it and see if we can get that mindset shift to happen to not do it. And I do a lot more of that now, where it still feels challenging. It still feels frustrating and irritable while everyone else is having whatever. But I'll go walk outside. I'll go walk upstairs. I'll take a big deep breath. I'll text my coach. I'll text my friend, my sister. And then it's amazing how you can feel the mind shift. And like, seriously, within like 3 to 6 minutes, I can feel like, oh no, okay, I'm good. I don't even really want that. But it's definitely practice. It's, yeah.
You're creating a new habit.
Yeah.
Right.
So rather than having that time where you eat something that you didn't intend to and you're not going to, that you have the habit of going, no, I'm not doing that. And you just switch, you go and do something else that takes your mind off that and you do something else. And eventually it's just second nature. You just don't eat it. You just walk by it like it's not even there.
And in the life book, Dr. Ray actually talks about the habit loop. And that's what we're doing is we're practicing a new habit loop. and it can feel really uncomfortable while you're making the new habit. Like he used to give the example to people that like he used to come home from work and automatically go to the refrigerator while I'm cooking dinner, like automatically go to the refrigerator, have some snacks while I'm cooking dinner. So now he has a new habit, and he basically comes home from work and goes straight upstairs, changes his clothes. So it gives your brain time to like digest and relax and just have a new different habit. And it's so just try different stuff until the new habit sticks, because it'll feel better once you find the one that'll work.
Perfect. Thank you guys. Thank you.
So I wanted to jump in here and make a comment. So I hope you guys are listening, because to me, just listening to Dave and CHERI here tonight, if you guys pay attention, they encapsulate probably the majority of the human experience, where CHERI's more on the emotional side of dealing with things. Dave is more on the rational side of dealing with things. They're complete polar opposites here. But in between, we all can see that there's a mix of us falling in between each one of them. I'm more on the rational side. I do identify with Dave a little bit more. But in the end, all of us are rational and emotional beings. We deal with things in our own different way. Dave was more about adjusting his attitude, stop, challenge, choose. He switched his attitude, and that allowed him to keep going forward. CHERI, on the other hand, had to kind of do some reflection. She still employed stop, challenge, and choose, but it took her a little longer because emotions tend to be a little bit more difficult to deal with. And that's because they're so ingrained, right? They're so rooted in the way we are brought up. She probably realized that she had some false beliefs that she carried with her. And that's part of the product. I mean, I went through that, and I'm more on the rational side, but I also had to understand that we all kind of grow up with programs. We're programmed to think a certain way, either through false beliefs or incorrect emotions. But ultimately, I think what I'm seeing here tonight with them two sharing their experience, I hope you guys understand, all of us can see a little bit about ourselves and either one of them or a mix of the two. So I'm super, super happy that you guys showed up tonight, because this is something that I'm very passionate about. And when I hear you guys tell the story, and for me to be able to see both experiences in the same couple. You guys are a couple, but you guys are completely different people. And to me, that's just, I completely love to see, people like you share your story. Thank you again.
I wanted to add something to that. So, when I started my journey, and still, we have it's our own journey. Like, even as a couple, you can't use him as an excuse, and he can't use you as an excuse. Like, me and my boyfriend, he lost some weight, and, he kind of yo-yo's a little bit still, because he's still learning. And like you said, you have to be able to not lie to yourself and give yourself small habits. Like, okay, I'm going to work on this. I'm going to work at this one thing at a time, and give yourself those little credits. But one thing, like, for us that really works is knowing, like, if he eats something and he goes off track, I'm not going to make that a reason, because I'm going to be like, I'm working out still. I got goals. And he may not see, even though we're together, we may not have the same dreams or the same beliefs. And that's where it only takes one person in your family to make that decision for you. So if you feel like everybody's pushing against you, even more reason why you need to push forward and be the healthy person for your family. Because I've been coaching for a little over a year, and my grandma just started having heart failure this weekend. It's like, you know what? I have to be more of a powerful force of health, because it's not just about eating cookies. And, people laugh. It's like, oh my God, you can't eat cookies. It's like, it's not about the cookies. Like, it's about the diabetes, the high blood pressure, all these problems that are in my family. So if I can be the person to stop it, I'm not going to say, well, he's eating French fries, I want French fries. Like, no. And you know what? Little by little, it's like, man, well, she's sticking to it. I'm going to stick to it. Like, I want to feel good. I want to stretch. I want to sleep better, because all those, once you change one thing, everything just domino effects. And the person, you know, it doesn't matter if you're opposites. That's what makes you stronger, because what one person lacks, the other one helps, you know, and you're able to do that. So don't use your guys' weaknesses for each other. You know, that's supposed to help you, like, grow. So, you know, how he's saying obstacles are the way. If you're not struggling, you're not growing. If you're comfortable, you're not changing. And if you're not happy, do something about it. We're here. Thank you, guys. That's all I gotta say.
Mic drop.
Yep. Amen, sister.
Your finger scared me.
That was amazing. So yes, I agree. You know, I recently just lost a friend too. He was having issues with diabetes. He had his leg amputated, and shortly after having his leg amputated, he passed away just the other night. So, you know, he left behind some kids, grandkid, and, you know, it's really sad. It's somebody I've known since childhood. And, you know, the fact that I've been doing this for a couple of years, I have the ability to help them. But the reality is, you have to make that choice. You have to be ready. You have to do it for you, and you owe it to your family. So unless anybody else has any questions or want to share anything, I think I will leave it at that.
See if we want to invite some of the other coaches that are joining us tonight to speak up. I know, Nancy, you're still here. Maybe some of your guests want to say something. We'd like to hear from you.
I'd like to say something. I'm hiding behind my camera, but I just, well, come on here real quick. I was feeling, yes, we can. I feel like I was going off track here for a little bit, having these, you know, difficult thoughts and not being myself. And honestly, being on today's Zoom has kind of given me that, you know, that boost, that push that I needed to, okay, get out of that funk that you're in, get back on track. It's not as bad as it seems. And have these two guests here talking about their story, and I think they explain it so well in detail on how we, you know, we deal with these things differently, and it just helped me process what I'm kind of going through, and know that it's only a temporary thing. It's only for today, that, you know, things will get better past today. Tomorrow will be, you know, a good day. So I'm thankful for you, the couple that you did speak today. I'm definitely going to apply what information you have given to us, along with everything else in the Zoom call. So just wanted to put that out there, and thanks.
Thank you for sharing that.
I'd like to share really quick. Sorry I came in kind of late. I was running around. I'm Robert. I've been on program since September 21st of last year. Since I've been on the program, I'm down 75 pounds right now, and a total of loss of like 90 since a full year of April. So I want to share who was sharing. I had the before right now. I forgot. I didn't catch your name. I'm sorry. But let me. I'm also a recovering drug addict of 14 years. So I apply a lot of my drug rehabilitation journey to this journey I'm on right now. And what I want to share is that when you worry about those temptations, I call them triggers. You know, anything that tries to come around you that maybe you might want to feel, you want to test the waters, just remember where you were and where you want to go. Okay. I was a major drug addict, and I had to go to rehab for almost 2 years to change my mindset. And that I don't know if anybody's ever had to go to rehab for anything for 2 years. That's how bad I was. And along with that came the weight gain. But I had to focus on my mindset of my rehabilitation with my drugs. So once I took care of all that, and any temptations that came around to me, I always just kept my mind straight and focused on that day, one day at a time, one day at a time. Anytime you think you're gonna mess up or maybe jump off track a little bit, just remember, it's still one day at a time. You're gonna get through it, and you're never gonna, and the rewards are beyond amazing. I'm 14 years clean sober, and I'm also down enough weight to honestly, I have to start looking for a new wardrobe. And and those rewards that I get by having those problems makes me want to keep going more. So when you think about, that pizza or that Burger King or that whatever's on the way home from when you're driving, just focus on getting home, because that's the main part. And then once you get home, I consider it your safe zone, and now you're ready to take care of whatever you need to take care of, and you stay on track with your program. Just focus. Keep sing. I sing a lot in my car, and that totally distracts my vision from those things. Not driving, but you know what I'm trying to say. So I'd like to say, I'm sorry, gentlemen, the one that shared. I have your mindset. Hey, I'm a shake and bar guy too. That's and cereal. And I'm a shake, bar, and cereal. So imagine how my day goes, So yep. I'm the total same way. And my coach Jennifer, she told me to make to-go bags. I make them.
That's right.
I do that. So
great job, Robert.
Thanks for letting me share. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Robert. Would anybody else like to share? Okay, Juliana, if you want to close this out.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for taking some time for yourself and learning. We're not growing unless we're going through obstacles and changes, guys. So we'll see you guys next week. We are going to be talking about health and hope. If you know anybody, please invite. I know someone wants to get healthy, learn some new stuff. There's someone out there, guys. Bring a friend. Share the love. Okay? Have a great night.
Juliana.
5 and 1.
Right.
Yes.
Hi, Donna. Yes, Donna, go ahead.
I just wanted to tell Juliana that I will be going on at Optavia and adjusting my order to bars and shakes.
Donna always adjusts her order.
But now that Dave said that, I can just have bars and shakes, and I'm excited about it.
I told you can have whatever you like.
I know. So that's what I'm going to do.
I change my order up at least 15 times before I actually push send.
It really does.
It's amazing. I do
Thank
it.
you.
I tell her don't look at my final order. I mean, whatever changes, I'll let you know when I'm ready.
You get to make more changes next month.
So I just wanted
it's a learning. Hey, we're learning. We're learning. We're learning.
But I won't push send until you approve.
Okay.
Okay.
No
Thank
snap.
you, guys.
All right, guys, thank you very much. I want to say thank you,
guys.
Dave, Cheri, for sharing.
Yeah.
It was awesome to have you here tonight.
So much, Dave and Cheri.
Please join us every week. We're here every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Please come along. We love to have you again.
Thanks for
Good night,
inviting me.
everybody.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
So I put everybody in the waiting room.
Oh.